Hello students and welcome to this video on relevant costing. I have a question here that I want us to run through. It seems pretty straightforward, but there are a few small principles in this question that you need to understand. This question is called Go Eco Limited, and it says Go Eco Limited is a manufacturing company that plans to run a line called All Clear. All Clear produces clear plastic that is recycled from reused products. The following information is provided. So they tell you that the variable cost is 500 Rand per kilogram. The semi-variable cost is 600 Rand per kilogram. The annual fixed cost is 3.5 million. The maximum capacity that they can produce in the line is 60,000 kilograms. The possible production and sales due to poor economic performance is 26,000 kilograms per annum, and then the selling price per kilogram is 2,000 Rand. In the additional notes, they tell you that the financial manager is unsure whether the proposed line should be produced and asked you to provide the necessary calculations to prove whether the line is feasible. The following details were provided. The variable cost arises exclusively from the production line. So there's a few very important principles that you need to understand when it comes to relevant costing. I just want to open an Excel spreadsheet when I talk about this. So for the relevant costing, you need to go and see whether this is a cost that can be avoided or not. So basically, you need to go and see, will it be incurred anyway, or is it incurred due to the product or service that you want to provide. So you need to go and see if a cost is incurred anyway, so it is irrelevant of whether the product of service is now being introduced or not, then this is an irrelevant cost. And when a cost is irrelevant, please indicate it in your test. So show that it is irrelevant, because many a time you get a mark because now the marker knows that you didn't just leave out the amount, you actually know that it's irrelevant. Because sometimes students just don't know what to do with the amount and they just leave it out. So if it is incurred anyway, just because the business runs and not because of this line or this product or this service, then it's an irrelevant cost. If it is incurred because of the product or service, then it becomes relevant, and you need to show the amount in your calculation. So this is a very important principle when you are calculating this or doing calculations for this topic of relevant costing. You need to go and ask yourself, is it incurred anyway? So irrelevant of whether I have a product or service, or is it incurred because of the product and service? So if we go back to the additional information, it says variable cost arises exclusively from the production of the line. So variable cost is incurred exclusively because of this product line. So that will make it a relevant cost. In the second bullet, it says a total of 20% of the semi-variable costs are incurred irrelevant of whether the line is produced. So if we go back to our Excel spreadsheet, they tell us 20% of the semi-variable costs will be incurred whether we make the product or line or we don't produce the product line. So this means that only 80% of this cost or the semi-variable cost is really relevant, because 80% of that semi-variable cost is incurred because we are making the new product line. So the 20% shows that it will be incurred anyway, so therefore it is considered irrelevant. Then the annual company fixed costs are unavoidable whether or not the product line is produced. I must have deleted something there, sorry. So here you will see that the fixed costs are unavoidable. So whether or not you are going to introduce this new product line, it will not be relevant. So here it will be irrelevant because it's incurred anyway. It's unavoidable. Whether you decide to make the product line or decide not to take up the product line, it will be incurred either way. All right, so let's see if you should now attempt this question, how will we do it? So I'm going to start with on a new sheet, and I'm just going to start with the sales. Let me just increase this so that you can see properly. All right, so I'm going to start with the sales. And for the sales, we are told that we are experiencing poor economic conditions, so therefore only 26,000 kilograms can be sold. And I believe that the selling price per kilogram is 2,000 Rand, and that gives us an answer of 52 million. So to calculate the sales, I take the 2,000 Rand and I'm going to times it by the possible production and not by the maximum production, because from this question it's clear that the maximum production cannot realize because we are in a poor economic state. Right, then we're going to go to the variable costs. The variable costs were relevant because they arise because we produce this product line, and it's 500 Rand per kilogram. So for the variable costs, I'm going to go out and tell myself, all right, I need to take the 26,000 Rand and I need to times it by 500, and that gives us, I just want to indicate that this should be negative because this is a cost. So that gives you 13 million. We are on the semi-variable cost. And with the semi-variable costs, it was indicated to us that 20% of the costs are irrelevant because they are incurred irrelevant of whether we make this product line or not, or take up this product line. So only 80% of it was actually a cost that would be incurred exclusively for the purpose of the production line. So here I'm still going to take the 26,000 and I just type it in as a negative because I want Excel to minus the amount because this is a cost. So then I'm going to times it by the semi-variable cost, but I'm then also going to times it by 80% because only 80% of it is indeed a relevant cost. So I'm going to type a side note and say 20% of this cost is irrelevant. So that's quite important to notice that 20% of it will be incurred anyway. So then let's look at the fixed cost, the annual company fixed cost. They say it is unavoidable whether or not the product line is produced. So I'm going to indicate on my calculation, there's the fixed costs. And here I'm just going to leave it blank and say this is irrelevant. Why is it irrelevant? It is incurred whether the production line is produced or not. So it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to leave that blank, and then I can go and calculate a total. So in calculating a total, I'm just going to get the sum of all the amounts that I have calculated. And my answer is positive. The answer is 26,520,000 Rand. And the answer is positive. And because it's positive, we're going to say, yes, they should indeed produce this product line because they are going to make a profit from it. So do produce it. It will give you 26,520,000 Rand profit, which is what we want to strive for. We want to be profitable. So The purpose of this video was just to bring under your attention the key question that you need to ask yourself when you approach this topic. You need to ask yourself, will the cost be incurred anyway, or is the cost incurred because of this product or service that I now plan to deliver? So if it is incurred anyway, it is irrelevant. If it is incurred because of the product line or service, then this cost should be included in your calculations. I hope that this video has helped you a little bit. And if you have any questions, please stop by during my consultation hours. Until then, keep well.